We shall now go on to Dr. Sony George, who heads the Department of Phaco and Anterior Segment from Medical Trust Hospital, and he is going to teach us some more. On to you, Dr. Sony George.
Thank you, Dr. Chitra.
Can you share your video?
At the outset, let me thank Dr. Chitra Ramamurthy for giving me this opportunity to give you my 2 cents in this wonderful program, Top Pearls in Cataract Surgery. And I would also like to place on record my sincere thanks to the ARC and to the scientific committee of the AIOS, which has converted a catastrophe like COVID into a great opportunity, a blissful opportunity, so that all of us can sit in the comfort of our homes and listen from a large number of speakers from across the globe. And all of us have become wiser and more intelligent because of all your activities. Thank you very much. So now coming to my talk, this is a situation in which I had a rhexis run out in a planned trifocal implant. The patient had already been operated on the other eye with a very hard brown cataract. And it was a successful surgery in spite of being a very hard cataract. I did a 6 mm rhexis because it was very hard. And I had implanted the IOL, and the patient was very happy with the 6/6 and 6 vision. And now I go ahead with the second eye. And this eye is a grade 3 firm cataract. So I start the surgery probably with a little bit of complacence because I had done a good job in a hard cataract. So this is not so hard. So I start the rhexis, probably, like I said, a little complacence from my side and a little bit of complacence from the patient side also. And the patient happened to be, and alas, this what happens, a little complacence from the patient also, you're struggling a little bit, and the rhexis tends to run out. At this point, if it was a monofocal IOL, it's not much of a problem, a grade 3 cataract. You could try all maneuvers to bring it out. Probably you could pull it inside and maybe you could escape. But then here, without a proper rhexis, you cannot go ahead with the multifocal. And being the second eye, we have already promised the trifocal to the patient. So what I do is I stop and think for a minute. Then I, instead of keeping on pulling again, I go inside, put a high density viscoelastic, and then use the Vanna scissors to make a small cut. And then instead of trying to pull, I just continue from the edge of the cut capsule and try to make as much of a regular capsular rhexis as possible, except in the area where it is run out to the periphery. Now, you have to be extremely careful. All your maneuvers have to be very clear. I make sure I go slow. I make sure the capsulotomy is complete. And then I do a very gentle hydro dissection, a good hydro delineation. Now I go in and I don't use much separational forces. And I very gently go very slowly. I go very gently and dial it. And once I do the second job and get a pie out, then the first pie comes out. I align the pie to the phaco probe. The rest everything I do by gently nudging the pieces. And the hydro delineation is really helping me so that the epinuclear plate and the cortical mass is not much disturbed. And as described by Dr. Om Prakash, I look at the flap, always consistently look at the flap, whether it is inverting or it is floating upwards. And cortical wash, I finish the entire area other than the area where the rhexis is enlarged. And I do the cortical wash very carefully without trying to hold the capsular edges. And once I do that, I use the 3-piece AT-LISA Tri, not 3-piece, single plate haptic IOL. I find this kind of IOL very stable, especially in a rhexis run out. I'm very carefully inspecting once again so that I don't make any mistakes. And since this is a 1.8 incision is enough to go through, I don't use a wound assisted injection. I go into the anterior chamber and then I inject the IOL. And while I inject, I make sure it opens up so that the haptics don't go into the area where the rhexis extension happens. And you can see that the lens is very well centered, and this is how it appears. The rhexis extension has not in any way caused any decentration, even while injecting the lens. And this is how it is. And this is the same day, you can see the rhexis extension superiorly. This is again one more picture. And at 4 weeks, the patient has 6'6" N6 at 33 and 60 centimeters. And this is at 3 months. You can very clearly see the rhexis extension. And this is at 6 months. And this is again at 6 months. You can see but you see the IOL is very well centered and the vision has been maintained. So the take-home message would be, no panic, stop, think, and proceed. The moment rhexis runs out, you shouldn't be in a panic and create more problems. Try a good delineation, go slow with your phaco, rotate less, and nudge the pieces, and monitor the flap always. And never allow the AC too shallow, because that can cause an extension. So visco exchange before withdrawal of any instrument, especially fluid carrying instruments. And I would prefer a plate haptic in this kind of situation. Proper alignment of the IOL may be very important, and give proper care till the last. And never be complacent, especially in a second eye of the premium implant. Always stop, think, and proceed. You may still be able to successfully do that with plan A itself. And thank you very much for a patient here.
Thanks, Dr. St. George, for bringing out one other aspect about this whole video's challenges you're seeing today. Gaurav, I think we all know that it is in the subincisional area or the side port is where there can be a rhexis extension. So it makes sense to inject viscoelastic little on the periphery of the capsule and then do it. But would you have used your that Brian's little rescue technique, Gaurav, in these cases? Can you stop sharing your screen, Sony George?
This is not my screen.
No, Dr. Debashish. Yeah.
Dr. Debashish, don't share it now. It's anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, I think the Brian Little's maneuver is invaluable, because whenever you are in a situation where your rhexis starts running out, only thing is you have to use micro rhexis forceps for best effect, because sometimes, going from the main port using a regular rhexis forceps will shallow the chamber and make it even more challenging. And especially, the tag of the rhexis will start coming out of the main port and make the surgery even more challenging. So fill in viscoelastic and go in from a side port using micro rhexis forceps and use the Brian Little's maneuver. And most often you can retrieve it. It's not difficult. And the other thing is about maybe you'll just ask about it later on. I would not put a plate haptic lens in this. I would probably put a 3-piece hydrophobic, because these plate haptic lenses tend to be, they tend to expand the bag much more, because they kind of can cause the result was excellent. I was impressed that your lens remained so good even after 6 months. But the chances for a plate haptic lens to cause enlargement of the rhexis or extension of the rhexis, and for subsequent and later stages also for decentration of the lens, is much more as compared to what might happen with even a single piece hydrophobic, which is again questionable whether you should put or not.
Actually, that was my main question for this talk. Would be what are the advantage of using a plate haptic IOL? Does everybody agree with what Gaurav says, that you would want a 3-piece only in this situation? And not because we don't have a PCR here, but a rhexis extension. Dr. Partha?
Yeah. So, Sony, excellent surgery and excellent outcomes, definitely. But I too find the plate haptics bulkier, and that stretch of the bag is much more than the 3-piece, the single-piece lenses. So the single-piece lenses, especially the Acrisoft, it really hugs the bag like that. And the chance of ear extension, I would really feel that there would be lesser in this. But remembering the fact that the zonules are really strong in all our patients, unless it's a very, very old and hard cataract, then. But otherwise, the zonules really do not prevent actually the extension of the runaway rhexis across. So I think the plate haptic lens, if it can be avoided, but however, if you have chosen a plate haptic lens and it is to be there in the other eye, you might not have a choice at all.
Anything else, Dr. Ramurthy, Dr. Dhamni, before we go on to our next speaker?
Plate haptic lenses.
Yes,
I
Dr.
think
Rajan.
plate haptics has to be avoided.
As Dr. Partha has just said, like definitely, because implanting these plate haptic lenses, if you have a Rexis runaway, and if you have a smaller capsular Rexis, it becomes really difficult. But on the other hand, the stability of the plate haptic lenses is much higher than the three-piece or the three-piece lenses. It's definitely because it takes up very good positioning, and especially if you have a Rexis runaway, and if you are able to put it properly, and if you put the haptic away from that on area, the stability, you get much better stability with the plate haptic lenses.
Yes, Anagha, you wanted
Just,
to
yeah, one thing, excellent surgery, Dr. George. I agree with Dr. Rajendra Prasad, sir. I think the stability of the plate haptic lenses are better. However, when you're trying to put in the actual lens and it's unfolding, the trailing part of the two haptics, sometimes it can slip into the sulcus. So, you might need to do a little bit of maneuvering by pulling it out and then nudging it into the bag. While doing all that, it can cause a tear or extension. So, and like Dr. Rajendra Prasad sir said, if the Rexis is slightly smaller or sub-incisionally, if the margin is a little bigger, then maneuvering that could become a little difficult. With a normal Rexis, with an intact Rexis, it may not make a difference. But here, because of the extension, then you might need to take a little more care and see that it doesn't slip into the sulcus. It can be put on the iris and then very gently with a vial type of, instrument, you can just nudge it into the bag. That's the only thing.
Yes, very
Actually,
important point.
if you
Yes.
just press a little bit
It goes
down
in.
while you're delivering the trailing haptic, it will slide easily into the
Yes.
capsula bag.
Yes.
And second, in my experience, I've used a lot of these CT Espina lenses, and these have
Yes.
very subtle markings on that. Although it is a monofocal lens. My experience, okay, I have also learned about this teaching that the plate haptics are less stable. But somehow in my experience, it's been very, very stable. And such would till now, whenever I've used this, it's been quite stable. I'm not saying the other one is not stable, but I found
There are different thought processes and very validly taken. And I think we should all get muted, please. Please get muted. Yeah. So thank you very much, Dr. Soni George. That was another very interesting call which you showed us.